This is James Kalm, the guy on the bike, welcoming back our worldwide viewership for another half-match production. And today we're coming to you from East 77th Street. We're going to run up and try to get some pictures of the Peter Doig show here. And maybe we'll run around and see some other things. Stay tuned. This happens to be a very famous building. This is the building where Leo Castelli opened his first gallery. And also, as I understand it, John Graham lived in an apartment downstairs by the boiler room for the last 10 or 12 years of his life. Well, here's a sweep of the main gallery. This piece is titled Man Dressed as a Bat, oil on linen, 118 by 137 inches. And we'll get up and take a closer look at some of this. Now, I had commented in the description of the other Peter Doig show that this work related in certain ways to Mark Rothko and Milton Avery. It says Man Dressed as a Bat Night. And some of the reviews have said they thought that this should have been called, or could have been called, Man Dressed as a Butterfly just as well. I just came from looking at a Rothko exhibition, and there is a relationship between those two artists. This is titled Mal Dystomach, 2008. This is distemper on linen. It's got references to our good old hero, Philip Guston. Very Guston-esque. I'll take a little stroll by some of the smaller pieces. They're probably all mostly about 18 by 12 inches, 16 by 12 inches. Oh, sneak peek in the back room. Looks like a Sigmar polka. This piece is Paragrand, 28 by 18 inches. This is a quick run through of Peter Doig. Michael Werner, 4 East 77th Street. Now we're going to run to Zwirner Wirth. I'm going to look at some works by Fred Sandback. I guess Fred Sandback would be considered a conceptual artist, or maybe a space and volume artist. This is Untitled. Sculptural Study, 2-part black corner constructions, 1975 to 2008. Well, this is a very minimal piece. It's Untitled. Copper wire. .95 1/4 by 13 1/2 inches. This is Untitled Cut Drawing, 1994, and you can barely see this. We'll try to get some details, show you the little cut lines on this. Kind of relates to a Fontana a bit. Now, Fred Sandback has been doing this kind of work since the late 60s, and he was championed by Heiner Friedrich and was taken on as one of the first artists that was funded by the Dia Foundation. And unfortunately, he committed suicide in 2003. This is Untitled Sculptural Study, 5-part stainless steel construction, 1960 to 2008. Much of this work is barely perceptible. This is Untitled. Eight-part vertical construction, 1992. Black, gray, white, and Venetian red acrylic yarn. And if you weren't aware that this was somebody's sculpture, you would just think that these were maybe the snap lines for an architect or somebody goofing around with some string. So this is Fred Sandback. That's Zwirner Wirth. Let's roll on. Well, we're up here at Michell-Inness Nash. We're going to take a look at the Chris Martin drawing show. Well, the opening isn't until this evening, and that's a little late for me to come in from Brooklyn and run around up here on the Upper East Side, so I snuck in right after the installation.
Yeah, shoot me an email if you need any photos.
Okay, thank you. Here's one of Chris's perennial favorites, the good old mushroom paintings and his pyramids. Just take a quick glance down here. Oh, this looks like something he's borrowing from a Frank Stella painting. This is Untitled, 1998 to 2004. This is one. Oh, we've got his counting going all the way up to the top. It's up to 103. This is one of Chris's spray paint pieces. Now, you might not be able to tell it from looking at a lot of his work, but Chris has been influenced by graffiti and some of the kids working on the street with spray paint. This is green, yellow, and orange. Spray paint and charcoal on paper. And that kind of recalls the Jasper Johns flagstone paintings. This is Untitled, 1985 to 1997. One of the things I admire about Chris is that sometimes he'll work on these pieces for years, even decades. He's a very determined and stubborn painter in that way. Now we'll take a stroll down this wall. I think another very attractive aspect of Chris's works on paper is the wide use of different materials and different mediums. He's got pencil, pen and ink, watercolor, gouache, spray paint. And sometimes he paints on some very unusual things. Oh, this looks like somebody's old handkerchief. So this is Chris Martin works on paper at Mitchell-Inness Nash. 1018 Madison Avenue.